Hey guys, me again. So today I'm going to talk about Feng Mao. Uh, Feng Mao is a little bit like Kalari. So far I haven't really played him as a laner. I don't think he makes a good laner. I think he makes good melee, roaming gank, that kind of thing. Um, yeah, let's start with his abilities. He's got his standard left click. His left click ability is quite strong off the get-go. 49.95 damage. For a melee, basically a carry. This guy's a carry, at least in my opinion he is. That's a lot of damage. That's a high starting damage. So he's got that going for him already. Next, onto his right click. To be honest, all of this guy's abilities are wicked. This guy is so strong at the moment. In my opinion, he's probably the strongest hero. But back onto his abilities. So his right click is called Conversion Shield. Lasts for 2 seconds. Absorbs X amount of damage. It starts off at 150. At its second stack, it'll go to 300 and then 450 and so on and so forth. It's really good. Gives him extra tankiness. Means he's pretty strong. Hard to gank. Really good ability, especially in team fights as well. Onto his Q. This is really good for maneuverability. It's called Reaping Dash. It throws out an image of himself. It doesn't look like an image of himself, but it's an image of himself. It deals damage. It does very little damage. It only does 40 damage starting, and then when it reaches the end of its duration, or if it hits an enemy hero, then you'll teleport to that point. It's really good for maneuverability. It can be good for initiation, and it can be good for escape as well. And between that and his right click, it's really hard to take this dude down. Really, really hard. Like you need either stuns or slows or a few of your team to primarily go after him, because he's really hard to take down at the moment. Now onto his E. It's called Hamstring. It's an AoE. It hits around him. He kind of swings his brain around, hits everyone in like a big circle around him. Does a fair amount of damage. It also slows them all, like everyone he hits with it, which is fantastic. This is really good because it's really easy to land on people. It does a lot of damage, does a lot of slow as well, and also whilst it can be good for clearing lanes early game when you get more items and you get more damage behind this, man, you can tear down lanes like nothing. You can just clean them up. And he's a very good pusher because of this in the late game, medium to late game. But at the start, not too good, and it's good for this is just good for ganking at the start. Now it's called Earthshire. It does 400 physical damage, and that's the same as Kalari's ult, but this, in my opinion, is a little bit easier to hit because there's less of a delay. And also it gives him a shield as well, whereas Kalari's does not. It kind of he spins up, hits the ground, everything in the cone or the line in front of him gets dealt that damage, and it's a lot of damage as well. So it's really good, makes ganking really easy just to slam this down, especially when you get someone on low health. There's also, he's got a really interesting passive, indeed. I don't know the details behind it. They haven't released any stats for it, but I know that. So when he uses defensive abilities, like his Reaping Dash is classed as a defensive ability, and his right click Conversion Shield is classed as a defensive ability, he gets offensive stacks. I don't know what this means, but he gets offensive stacks. It also works with his Conversion Shield, where he gets offensive stacks every time he's hit with it. But the other side of his passive, every time he uses an offensive ability, like Hamstring or his ultimate Earth Shatter, he gets defensive stacks. So I think it'll just give him extra shield. It'll probably add on to Conversion Shield or whatever. But in my opinion, this is such a strong. Like everything about this hero is really, really strong. He's maneuverable. He hits hard. Late game, he can clear lanes very quickly, very effectively. And when he goes into fights, regardless of what ability he's using, he either gets more defensive or more offensive. So you crack out all your abilities, you're gonna be stacking a lot, and you can tear shit up pretty quickly. And here's Feng Mao in action. I'm using him as a laner here, just because there was no other laners. I don't think he's a bad laner by any means. I just think there are better laners than him, and I think he works better as a roaming ganker. There was his teleport ability straight into his hamstring E ability, and you see I've used my shield as well, and I'm just tearing. I know he's the same character as me, but I'm just tearing him up here. I don't know if I know something more than him, or if he's just newer to the game than me. But yeah, really unfortunate on his part. But you saw just how quick his health went down. Now at the start, I always get a health potion and a mana potion and a harvester key. Because I roam a lot, I find it might as well be you to put the harvester keys in. And it also might as well be you to collect them as well. Like, it's not just you that can collect them, but when you're roaming, if you're moving between lanes, you might as well collect it on the way round. Oh yeah, early game. Run around, gank, gather XP and card XP and farm. This character's so strong, so strong. I don't think he's broken. I just think other heroes need buffs to catch up with him. Kalari especially, as if you saw my other video, you know, wasn't that impressed with Kalari. Wasn't very impressed at all. But this dude, he's got maneuverability. He's got a lot of damage. He's got a slow. He's got an escape. He's got a really powerful ult. Yeah, at the moment, if I want to win a game, I pick him. Either pick him or Gideon. And generally, if I really want to win a game, I'll pick this guy. I've got a very high win rate with him. Ah, oh, there's his ult right there. See how that just tore him up? He died in an instant. Yeah, this is Feng Mao. Probably the strongest carry in the game at the moment, at least in my opinion. He's got strong late game push and clearance of lanes. He's not indestructible, don't get me wrong, you can gank him, but it takes a bit of an effort. You know, if you start using your teleports and your shields wisely in positioning, he's very hard to take down. So yeah, if you're playing and you're trying to play competitively and you really want to win, pick this dude. As far as the cards go with him, later on into the game, I always start off with this one. It gives damage and attack speed. Physical damage, of course, and I always go. Yeah, I always build that first. I only generally, on its upgrades, I only generally put one attack speed in, and then the rest is physical damage. Just personal preference, I suppose. And then later on, I build one of these two. I always figure if I need my health, I buy this one because it's got physical damage and health. But then if I'm doing okay and I don't need too much more health, I'll buy this one. Which is physical attack damage and crit. Crit's very good on him, especially with his kind of. It's not all melee heroes have a cleave ability, but I guess because his weapon looks so long, I think it's more. It appears to be more prominent on him anyway. And then of course, whichever one I don't have, whichever one I build first. After that, I'll build the other one. And then if the game goes on long enough, I'll buy lifesteal item. Like you don't need much more damage at that point, especially because you've got the crit. And I feel lifesteal, it makes him almost like indestructible. Like you need a lot of stuns to stop him, and there's not too many long-term stuns in the game at the moment. So he's just ferocious by nature. Yeah, that's Feng Mao. In my opinion, the strongest carry. A lot of people say he's fair. I don't think he's unfair. I just think other heroes need a slight buff. But yeah, hope you enjoyed my guide. Thank you very much for watching. Hope it gave you some advice on how I build them at least. Yeah. Also, if you guys have got any better guides, you think I'm playing them wrong, or you have any tips, please do drop it in the comments below. I'd love to see how you play them, and if there's any way to improve on how I'm playing, that'll be wicked. Thank you very much for watching. Do subscribe if you want to see more of these videos. I'm gonna keep making them. I love this game. I love Paragon. I love the community as well. The community's backing it up really well. So yeah, do subscribe. And have a good day, guys. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. Oh boy.